Welcome to the Revival Method podcast, where we teach you actionable steps that you can take to start moving, thinking, and feeling better. And welcome back to the Revival Method podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brandon Parker, and today we have a special guest. We have Sheila on the cast because she was telling me how great she was doing with the mobility manual, and I feel like so many people need to hear her story because there's too many people hanging out on the fence waiting to do something about their health, and then they wait till it's too late. So I wanted to bring Sheila on here to give her honest perspective on the program, and hopefully it will give people the nudge that they're looking for. So Sheila, how are you doing, and what's up? You're in Florida right now, right?
No, I'm in upstate New York right now, and yes, I'm in upstate New York. I go back and forth between Florida and upstate New York. I'm new to retirement and busier than ever. So my lifestyle that's part of what I want to talk about with this program is my lifestyle, right? I went from working, enormous number of hours a week, but I kind of had a set schedule. Like I had I worked from 7 to whenever I was done, and was always too tired to work out. So, but it was all the same. Like I just did the same thing every day. I was kind of burned out. And then I knew I needed to fix my health, and I had no excuses after I retired. I'm like, you have no excuses now. You have to prioritize, right? So, being one that always prioritized my career, I really let my health kind of slip.
Mhm.
So, I needed a program that was portable because I do travel a lot. I needed flexibility because I have different schedules every day. We can get into that, but in retirement, my day is different. It's busy, but it's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was looking online, honestly, for something, and I saw you on Instagram, and I started following you on Instagram. And then you talked a lot about problems that I was having, like mobility, flexibility, joints, balance. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to try this program. It's not the first program I've tried, let me tell you that. But it is the first program that, like, it works. It just works.
So my question for you is I know a lot of people when they think about mobility, they think about stretching, right? Like let's get on the ground, let's start stretching, and then when they do programs like myself, it's more of a resistance training background. Like so I come from a strength and conditioning background where I worked with athletes, and not only does the research show this, but I've seen it with my clients where if we load the body properly through a full range of motion, you get the strength and the flexibility together in like half the time. Did you feel like you got that result?
Totally. And I think obviously because but you just hit on the difference in this program. Because I've always been a really strong person. And
Mhm.
I think you can maintain your strength. Well, I could over time because that was one of I'm strong. Um, but as I lost my flexibility, it wasn't just about stretching. Like I could stretch and I could try to stay strong, but I did not have the mobility that I wanted to have. And you
Yeah.
are absolutely right that the combination of moves that you use, I mean, so I joined your mobility manual. I don't think I was the first one to join, but I was right up there. And right after I joined, I injured my knee playing pickleball, right? So
Ooh.
again, I'm strong, I'm athletic, but I was not flexible and I wasn't mobile in a way that I wanted to be. So I really injured my knee bad. And I thought, okay, I'm never going to live like this. I'm not going to live like the person who can't get up from the chair, ooh and ah all the time. I'm not going to be that person. So it was kind of coincidental that I had just joined your program. And so I did your lower body knee. For me, it was knee and hips. And honestly, it's pretty bad injury. So I'd say within 6 to 8 weeks, I'm like, wow, my knee's better than it was before.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, even if I didn't have the injury, I think the injury just made me realize how important it is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a lame person. So that really triggered me to really be, faithful to this program. But I think beyond that, so I've gone beyond that injury now by months. And, um, you know, you just added like different exercises, so like I just have now learned how to do those exercises at my own pace, my own ability,
Yep.
my own time, my own schedule. Anytime I want to put on one of your programs, I can. If I really need extra motivation, um, I just flip you on the screen and there you are, motivating me. Um, so I've learned so much from you. That's the thing. I've learned so many basic things that just stick.
It absolutely warms my heart. And I do have a question for you because I also seen this reluctance to strength train in the presence of an injury. I mean, it's obvious, right? Like if somebody's dealing with a knee injury, the last thing they want to do is like put load on it and experience more symptoms.
Yeah.
But we know that there's a beautiful line where if we teeter that line where we put a little bit of load on it, we can actually recover and get stronger. Did you ever feel like you were fearful during these exercises, or did you learn that balance? How did that go?
You know I did because I know I got in touch with you several times and said, I don't know, should I be working through this pain or should I be backing off or what can I do to get over this pain? I think I contacted you several times and you get right back to me. You say, you explain to me, the pain level, what you should be feeling. And I mean, definitely you have to work through some pain and that's a little
Yep.
scary. Um, I I really feel like, I mean, I'm different than some people. I had been through physical therapy before and I maybe should have went this time, but like I knew enough and I had your help and
Yeah.
I felt like working at my own pace, but you guided me in,
Yeah.
how much pain to tolerate. And it made all, and yes, so I did work through some pain and strengthened. And you just have to learn what muscles need to be strengthened. And it
Mhm.
worked.
Now, that you bring up a interesting point because a lot of my rehabilitation programs are the ones that I do with my clients in a physical rehabilitation sense,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Um, with you being at home and you're not having somebody like overlook you, that could be scary. But would you say because you had experience in the past, do you think that's the reason why you were confident enough to do it on your own, or?
I would say so, but I mean, I think that that was really related to a pretty significant injury. Had it not been for the injury, your program alone at home is so self-explanatory and so, I mean, you are so good at saying, if you can't do it this way, do it that way, or
Mhm.
don't hurt yourself trying to do something you can't do. Back it down a little bit, and I don't I feel like anybody can do it. I feel like it's a
Mhm.
program geared for like anybody. I like to think that I'm definitely not at the top rung of your program because I'm not young anymore. Um, but I'm not at the lowest end either. So I'm somewhere in the middle, which I think most people are. Some
Yeah.
exercises I can do better than others, but I feel good about it because you make us feel good about it. You're like, if you can't do this exercise, that's okay. You might be really good at another one. And
Yeah.
just works.
When I was making these programs, I wanted to be so versatile where if you were encountering an injury or perhaps something that you cannot fix, right? Like sometimes we're in this situation where it's too far gone, but
Yeah.
I wanted to give you an opportunity to, let's say you're stuck at a regressed movement, but you can still always add weight,
Right.
reps, slow down the movement, and you can still build that strength that's going to protect you from future injuries. And do you feel like, because this is something that I always wanted to ask, and you're a perfect person to ask, is do you think that I gave too much leeway with some of these movements, like in the sense of like maybe it's too confusing?
No, I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, again, I like to think that I don't really need too many of the really lower regressions or however you call that, the lower end regressions. But I think it's useful for a lot of people because I think that at least I know some friends and family that would really need the lowest end. And but yet
Yeah.
again, you challenge us all the time. So no, I think having multiple regressions helps, I think.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
those regressions are okay to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And my final question for you, because I'm always trying to improve this thing. For people that don't know how this mobility manual works, is you get access to it for a lifetime, and it's my pet project. So I'm always adding stuff to it as I get a little bit more time in my day. And the latest one was Spine 101. So I guess I have two questions for you. Is first, how are you liking Spine 101? And
I,
two, what would you like to see in the future for me to add? I feel like I'm going to prioritize whatever you say to be the next installment.
so here's the answer to that. I have an answer for the first part, not the second, because boy, did I need the spine. And I kind of knew that, but I didn't know to call it spine. And
Mhm.
I think I even talked to you about this. I felt like my range of motion in my upper spine was getting limited. My rib cage,
Mhm.
my upper spine. Like for example, if you're driving in a car and you really need to turn to the back seat to get something, or you need to, look side to side for cars, you could feel this like tension, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting old. But the spine is amazing. I did like level the 1, 2, I got to 3. I'm like, oh my God, this is like so much better. And you
Yeah.
don't even realize it when you're doing it. So what can you add? I leave to you as the expert, because you actually added spine, and I'm like, that's what I needed. I, I mean, the knee and the hip was obvious. The spine was not as obvious to me. But when you added that, like that's one of my favorites now. I mean, I
Perfect.
love the knee and hip, but the spine is just amazing. And I used to think of a lot of the exercises you do in there as, sit ups. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing just plain sit ups. I'm too old for
Right.
that. I'm not doing that. But you make it's different movements. Again, it's flexibility. It's so much better. I
Yeah.
say. So then I want to say
The
one more thing is that then I did the challenge, and you added the component of hydration and nutrition, which are so like such little changes in your life, but so major. I mean, like those little things, drinking enough water like every day, like
yeah.
not just when
Yeah.
you feel thirsty, but like every day. It's amazing.
It's so there was a book that really influenced my perspective on a lot of aspects of life. I'm sure everyone listening would know this. I don't know if you know this. It's called Atomic Habits. Have you ever
Yes,
heard of the book?
yes. I
And it's a great book, and what I read in the very beginning was basically the perspective of just 1% improvements on a lot of different areas can make a massive improvement overall. And my thought process was, okay, what are the lowest hanging fruits that everyone needs to work on? And if they were to do that, they would start to feel the benefits, and hopefully that will give them the motivation to keep pushing forward. And like I'm super glad that like you're saying these things, because it just by eating enough protein, by just drinking enough water, by just making sure that you're going to bed at a reasonable time, you're a new person. It completely.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And like you say, low hanging fruit. Like who can't do this? I mean, I
Right.
eat more than I used to eat, and I feel better, and I lost 10 pounds without even trying. I mean, the other thing is, it's not a temporary program I'm in. It's like a
Mhm.
lifestyle, and it's so simple. You want to
Yes.
continue it.
It's-
Yeah, it's
yeah.
lifestyle.
The only reason why I'm not tearing up right now is because we're on video.
It is so amazing. I preach it to everybody, but I, you know, um, I've been on a lot of programs, a lot of diets, a lot of trying to make changes, and it's always been temporary because it's too hard. It's not a lifestyle.
Right.
This
Right.
is just amazing. It's amazing.
Well, Sheila, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I do really appreciate you taking the moment to get on here and just tell people your true thoughts on the mobility manual. And for those that are listening, the mobility manual is just a pet project of mine that I usually give to my one-on-one clients, but I also had like a small like release to Sheila and about 199 other people, and they were my test subjects. So Sheila, I do want to thank you tremendously for trusting me and giving me a shot, because it really does mean the world to me.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Someday I'll meet you in person, Dr. Parker.
We're so dang close in Florida, so I mean, we just gotta take a time and do
Yes.
it.
All right.